Hi everyone, welcome to the People's Apothecary Garden. I'm going to share with you a little history about the People's Apothecary and how this beautiful garden space has come together. Today is March 24th, 2020, and so it is still very early season in Victoria, BC, where we have some things that are just sprouting up right now, but you're going to see a lot of branches, all these trees behind me that is going to turn into a forest. Do look a little minimal at the current moment, but I do promise this is a very lush and gorgeous garden to walk around in. So this garden space was first designed in 2012 by a group of herbalists. We came together as we wanted to see more accessible medicine for the community, and we wanted to be able to offer that in different forms, one being the garden and one being harvesting for individuals and having a free apothecary or supporting those free apothecaries that are already occurring in Victoria. So 2012, there was a group of us that came together. There was probably between 8 and 12, kind of varied depending on the meeting day. And we came together and we really wanted to discuss free, accessible medicine with garden design, workshops. We wanted to think obviously about the land that we're on and thinking about reconciliation with Indigenous people of this land and the medicine of this land as well, while also cultivating a space for anyone to be welcomed and to support their health within this garden. So 2012, this garden looked pretty much like the rest of this field. So just grass. And now we have this beautiful garden. Maybe a little showcase. We have a few students that are in the garden right now, a couple people that are weeding. Oh, just one right now. We had a couple more, but now we just have one person that is just enjoying an afternoon of weeding. And so this garden was this space was just grass. And at the time, the Vancouver Island School of Art, which is the building right behind where I'm facing, actually, right behind where the filming is occurring, it was a school that was here. And they half owned this land, or they half rented the space, and the city half owned it. There's kind of some uncertainty about that relationship still. I'm trying to figure out what parts of it is owned by the city and which is owned by the school board, the Victoria School Board. But at that time they were renting the building, and we asked permission to design a garden. And they came back and they didn't want to really have a straight road growing carrots. They wanted something that had a little bit more intention and a little bit more meaning behind it. And so when we proposed the People's Apothecary with our winding paths and art installations, they were really excited to take on this, or to allow us to do this project on this beautiful land. So 2012 was the first year that we started having conversations. That year, it would have been in the fall of 2012 was our first year that we sheet mulched. So we sheet mulched half the garden. It was a big garden work party. We had a lot of cardboard, so we went to all the big appliance stores and we got as much cardboard, truckloads and truckloads, and we de-taped it all. It took a lot of time, and we got lots of leaf mulch. So we put cardboard down on top of the grass, and then we put leaf mulch over top. And in the winter of 2013, that was our first. We also planted a few plants at that point, and then in 2013 we finished the sheet mulching because we only got halfway done. It's a pretty big space, and then in 2013 we finished planting the beautiful garden here. We had very little tiny plants at the point, so they were just little tiny baby plants that maybe were about 2-3 inches high. And then we had one plant that was donated that was the mother of the garden. That was Archangelica, and it was a beautiful plant that was right in the middle of our garden. That really was the tallest plant. It was about maybe 2 feet high at the point. And then from there we've been having workshops and garden parties throughout the many years, and obviously the garden is grown quite a bit since then. So we have beautiful trees that are like the elder that's right here, which is a amazing herb that's antiviral. Lots of research about viral infections and about potentially using it during this time. It's a cold and flu season just in general, but of course, all the other things that we're experiencing with COVID-19 experience. And so we've got lots of beautiful plants, including our gorgeous elder, which is a full-grown tree at this point. You're going to see this beautiful sign back here. So I was lucky enough to have a friend of mine who was an amazing carpenter, and I asked to create a sign that was going to be a standpoint in our community and to just be really beautiful and to also help me with other signage. So this was in 2014, I believe. My friend Irie carved this beautiful sign, so I'll bring up the video a bit closer so you can see how gorgeous this sign is. And he also helped me cut all of the other signs, and at that point we had just hand painted signs to identify all the plants. In 2017, I'm going to say, we got some funding to make more signs. So the garden in general is funded through the students at Pacific Rim College. Typically we get $500 through their student access fund to help with watering the garden, so the water usage, to get mulch. So we sometimes will we'll get usually free leaf mulch every year from the city because we are a community garden. But sometimes we have to pay for our mulching our paths with bark mulch and buying maybe some extra additives that we might want to be looking at, so the plants or seeds that we want to be adding to the garden. But in 2017, we got extra funding, so we went above and we got funding from the neighborhood small grants. So that was the Quadra Village neighborhood small grants. From Pacific Rim themselves, so Pacific Rim matched the student activity fund and they donated $500 to this project. And then Alley Cat Signs was the sign people that we went through, and they gave us a nonprofit discount, which was really wonderful. And so in 2017 we made these gorgeous signs, which I will show you. The main one that we have here. Ooh, as I stand in a rose bush, ouch! So our main one here, the People's Apothecary. So this gives the community a little bit more knowledge base on who we are, how to get in contact with us. We're talking about the more complex root system, so looking at the sustainability of herb garden commons, talking about being on the traditional territory, and a little bit more about how the garden was formed and who can access, which is everyone can access, but how to access the garden. We have our core values, what we do, so engaging a vibrant community, provide opportunities for people to have access to medicine, and we have work parties, free work parties every year where we teach skill sharing such as medicine making, harvesting. Last year we had an art design one, we had meditation groups, so many different ways that we can be engaging with this garden. And then a little bit about connecting with us on Facebook, Instagram, and our email. So that gives the opportunity for people to know more about the garden. From there we made these beautiful signs. We'll go look at one sign over here of our lovage. And so these signs were a big creation. There was a few students that helped me edit them. I drafted all of these signs, and they helped to edit them and to make sure they had the right font size and the content that we were looking for. And so we wanted to have a photo so people could identify lovage, which is right behind. I think there it is, all right here. We wanted to have information about the Latin name, the common name, the plant family, the part that we're using, the time of harvest, how to prepare it, so different tinctures or teas, what's the activity of the plant, and then also safety, so contraindications and cautions, so that everyone can feel comfortable with taking the herbs if they're taking other maybe medication, or if there's any concerns about taking those plants. And then what it's used for, so the medicinal uses. So with these signs, this actually increased the ability of people to access this garden. So before we just had those hand-painted signs which just had the common name, and now this gives a lot more information for community members to come in and to engage and learn about herbal medicine. So again, the garden is open at any time. Please feel free to come and weed. And I'll give a tour in a second of the beautiful People's Apothecary.